Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him the Lord had given deliverance into Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper.
Hello there, traveler. You seem weary from a long journey. Rest a while, and I'll tell you a story. Because the most miraculous thing just happened to me, and I'm bursting to tell everyone. I still can't believe this happened to me, actually. You might have a hard time believing this too. I used to be a leper. Yes, no, it's true. I used to have leprosy. But I'm healed now. I'm from Syria, can't you tell? And in Syria, we have looser laws regarding our lepers, and so despite my disease, I was still able to hold a job and actually quite a high position. I was quite important in Syria. I still am, but now I know that I'm nothing compared to your God. I'm second in command in the land of Syria, second to the king himself. I'm captain of the army of the king of Syria. In Syria, I'm a big deal. I had everything I wanted, except my health. My wife has a little maid, a little Israelite girl, who, despite being taken from the land of her birth, she clearly doesn't hate me. Because she told my wife of a man in Israel, a prophet, his name is Elisha, who could heal me. And one of my servants overheard this conversation and came and told me of this prophet. So immediately I wrote a letter to the king of Israel so that he knew I'd be coming to see this prophet Elisha, and he wouldn't think I was coming down to raid the land of Israel like we normally would. I was coming to see Elisha to be healed of my leprosy. And so we set off on our journey. When we came to the prophet's house, I was expecting a great show, a grand introduction to this great prophet of Yahweh, this prophet in Israel. I'd heard a lot about him. Everyone knew who Elisha was. I heard about him in Syria. He had international renown. I was expecting a show. But we didn't even get to meet Elisha, not then. He sent a little servant down to give me this measly message. And it went something like this. Go and wash 7 times in the river Jordan, and you will be clean. You will be cleansed of your leprosy. The River Jordan? That's little more than an irrigation ditch. You know the River Jordan. I was furious. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, far better than all the waters that are in Israel? The River Jordan? I'm far too important to be washing in a muddy river like that. How insulting. How embarrassing. I already humbled myself and listened to my wife's little Israelite maid. And I made a fool of myself to the king of Israel. And I came all the way down here to a land full of people that hate me, just to be mocked by this man, Elisha. And he wouldn't even do it to my face. I thought for sure that Elisha himself would come out and see me, and stand, and call on the name of his God, and strike his hands together, and heal my leprosy, right then and there. But then my servants came and spoke some sense back into me. They made me realize that if Elisha had asked me to do something grand, I would have done it. If it had been a lot more work. But spectacular, I would have done it. What Elisha had asked me to do was really very simple, very easy. It would just be humiliating for a man in my position to do what he had asked. But what could it hurt? So we went to the River Jordan, and I washed 7 times, just as the prophet Elisha had told me. And would you believe it? I was cleansed of my leprosy. My skin, it's like the skin of a baby. Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth except in Israel. I returned to Elisha, and I tried to give him gifts of gold and silver and the finest clothing that we can get in Syria. But he refused me. Then I asked him if I could take as much dirt as 2 of my mules could carry, because I will no longer sacrifice to any other god but Yahweh. And when I do, I want there to be a little piece of Israel there. I should probably get back on the road to Syria, but let me leave you with this. I spent my entire career as the most macho man in Syria, and many gruesome battles for me to be able to climb to the position that I am now. Second in command, captain of the army of the king of Syria. But that was nothing for my leprosy. That couldn't heal me. It took the faith of a little child and a few words to set me on my journey to be healed of my disease. And what's more than that, because of the faith of this little child, I know the one true God. And that's the greatest thing. I can't wait to show my wife. Farewell, safe travels, and God be with you until we meet again, friend.